The Oval Office meeting pivotal to New York's case against Trump. A few weeks after Donald Trump took office as the 45th President of the United States, there was a brief conversation in the Oval Office. But in the criminal case against Mr. Trump that is presently being played out in a high-profile New York trial, the encounter between the now ex-president and his former attorney Michael Cohen may be crucial. Mr. Cohen testified Tuesday at the trial saying, "I was sitting with President Trump and he asked me if I was okay. He asked me if I needed money." When he stated he was okay to the then president, he claimed Mr. Trump answered, "Okay, just make sure you deal with Alan Weisselberg." At the time, Mr. Weisselberg served as the chief financial officer of the Trump Organization. Then, according to Cohen's testimony, Mr. Trump promised to send him a check shortly. Following the discussion, Cohen posed for a picture in the White House briefing room behind the renowned lectern. The image of the man who once declared he would take a bullet for Mr. Trump, standing at the press secretary's podium in a black suit, appeared on courtroom television screens on Tuesday as part of the evidence in the first-ever criminal prosecution of a former U.S. president. An email verifying the encounter from a White House aide was also shown by the prosecution. In the run-up to the 2016 presidential election, Mr. Trump has refuted numerous allegations that he used false information to conceal a hush money payment to adult film actress Stormy Daniels, who says they had a sexual encounter. Prosecutors claim that after Cohen paid the payment, he received monthly reimbursements masked as legal costs. They claim that electoral meddling was involved in Mr. Trump's purported concealment of the reimbursements' intent. Following the encounter, the court was informed checks totaling $130,000, £103,000 that Cohen had paid to Miss Daniels began to arrive. Some of the checks bore Mr. Trump's signature. A BBC visual that reads, "Trump on trial." Reporters from BBC News are monitoring the historic first criminal trial of a former US president from the Manhattan courthouse. Their updates and analysis are available on the BBC News app, website, radio, and podcasts. In court, Cohen's 2 days of drama in full examining. Republicans swarmed the courts to demonstrate their support for Trump. Background: Cohen describes his life as a fixer for Trump. Cohen and Trump, how the line between them soured. These $35,000 monthly checks from Cohen were listed as services rendered on his bills. Speaking in front of a courtroom crowded with the public and media, Mr. Cohen asserted that the bills were fraudulent. In his testimony, he said that in reality, they were supposed to pay him back for the hush money, plus an additional sum to cover any possible taxes. The 34 felony allegations of document falsification against Mr. Trump consist of 12 entries in an accounts ledger, 11 checks, and 11 invoices. The Oval Office encounter may prove to be a turning point in the trial, according to former Manhattan prosecutor Rebecca Roiphe, but it will depend on the jury's perception of Mr. Cohen's credibility. Cohen has entered a guilty plea to federal charges include lying to Congress and violating campaign finance laws. The prosecution could have established its case without Michael Cohen's testimony about the in-person meeting in the Oval Office, but it certainly helps connect the dots, said Roiphe. If the jury believes this part of Cohen's testimony, it would completely undermine one of the key defenses, that Trump had nothing to do with these payments. The jury will have to consider a number of important circumstances, including Mr. Cohen's past lying to Congress and his imprisonment for paying hush money. Trump's legal team did not address Cohen's claims that Trump was aware of the purported reimbursement arrangement and the hush money payment during the 2 hours of cross-examination on Tuesday. Rather, they set out to undermine his credibility. When the defense resumes interrogating Cohen on Thursday, Ms. Roiphe said, they might continue using similar tactic to refute the accusations made by the Oval Office. The defense has sought to portray Cohen as a spurned underling who was obsessed with Trump and would stop at nothing to exact revenge, said Roiphe. It can draw on this theme to try to make it seem as if this uncorroborated testimony is made up. That's precisely how this trial got started, as Mr. Trump's attorney Todd Blanche described Mr. Cohen in his opening remarks. "He's a convicted felon and a convicted perjurer. He's an admitted liar.